Alright, today we're going to be tearing into a Arctic Cat Prowler XTX 700. And what was going on here, this machine was not engaging the clutch as quick as it should. We first thought maybe that belt was wearing thin, and inspected the belt, and that was in good condition. So we went ahead, obviously at that point had the clutch cover pulled off there, had this cover pulled off, and what the inside under that cover was the rear clutch here and the front clutch here. And we'll show you how to put that back together in a separate video, but we've got this large specialty nut here that we've got to pull off of this clutch. And then we have this along with a washer that sits on this nut along with the washer that sits on that clutch there. This obviously is going to be, oh, here's the washer here. This clutch is going to sit farthest back onto the motor. It's going to sit farthest back onto that shaft there. Now, next thing we did, since we thought this was probably a centrifugal clutch problem, is we pulled this cover off here, and we've got a mess of Torx. These are T30 bolts, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 21 Torx bolts that we had to remove, kind of hidden all the way around this clutch cover here. And had to remove all of those. This ring also came off at that point, and then we were able to slide this cover off. And then this is what we found. One-way bearing fell out when we were doing that, so we want to make sure that that goes in the right way, and I'll show you that way here in a second. But you want to make sure you clean this gasket surface all up, as there is oil that will sit in this housing here that you will not want to leak. So we've got the oil drained here. We've got this outer cover off here, or the outer cover here, this inner cover here, and then we've got your centrifugal clutch here. Now this nut is a 24 millimeter, and you're going to want to use an impact socket to remove that with an impact, and you're going to spin that clockwise to remove it. So you want to spin it the opposite way that you would normally turn a nut off. So once you get that nut removed off of there, you can pull this inner clutch pack off, inspect it, and put the new one on if that one is worn. So we've got that off there. This bearing will come on and off here, and you want to put that bearing, so it says outside, and then the arrow is spinning clockwise. You want to make sure that that goes on the right direction. If you put that on the right direction, it will not engage that clutch. It'll just free spin in there. That motor will spin, but the clutch won't ever engage. So you want to make sure you get that on there right. Again, install the new gasket here. Make sure that fits into place before you put this cover on. You want to make sure that bearing seats down in this housing properly, and then make sure that gasket fits all the way around there. We've got a little more cleaning up to do on this gasket here. After we get that on, we'll put the clutches on. Now we've got your back clutch here, and that goes on. We'll put this sheave, this fixed sheave, on first, and then we will put this spacer on here, and then slide your movable clutch sheave. This is your front clutch here. We'll slide that on, and then your secondary clutch here. What you do is take a small bolt, and the threads here, you'll slide that in. This will open that clutch sheave up. Then you're able to put your belt in that sheave, through that sheave there. You want to make sure that your shaft sticks out far enough to where you're able to get this nut. You want to put this on the right way. You want to make sure that that spacer area goes over top of the splines. You want to make sure you don't put it on this way, or it's going to move too much. Your clutch is just going to spin in there, and it's going to cause some major damage to that clutch. So you want to make sure that the nut is put on the correct direction, which is this way. Slide it on there, turn it. Okay, you want to make sure you put thread lock on those too. You don't want those nuts coming off going down the road. And once we get that on, we're able to put this clutch cover back on. Just a handful of Torx bolts all the way around there, and then you want to start your four-wheeler. Make sure you put oil in it, and we always change the filter, the oil filter, while we're here doing this. So that is service on the clutch on an Arctic Cat 700 XTX.